If you walk into a gun store today and ask for a .357 lever gun, you're about to be sold the same 3 rifles everyone else buys, and that might be your first mistake. 90% of buyers only know the usual names: a Henry, a new production Marlin, maybe a current Rossi. The conversation ends before it even begins, but what most people don't realize is that better rifles are often sitting quietly in the back rack, gathering dust while the spotlight stays on the mainstream picks. Some of those overlooked lever guns will outperform the favorites, sometimes at a lower price. Today, we're exposing the .357 lever guns nobody talks about, and why the crowd is dead wrong. The reason this keeps happening is simple. The market is driven by marketing, nostalgia, and repetition. Big brands push the cowboy aesthetic because it sells. Influencers repeat the same safe recommendations because it keeps everyone comfortable. And before long, those 3 rifles become the only rifles most buyers ever hear about. But smooth out of the box is not the whole story. A polished action in the first 50 rounds does not guarantee long-term durability. What really matters is how a rifle holds up after thousands of cycles, after real field use, and after years of ownership. Value per dollar matters more than hype. So today, we are ranking these rifles differently. Mechanical strength, action smoothness after proper break-in, real-world durability, upgrade potential, and value on the used market. So let's start with the one nobody expected. Coming in at number 4 is the Smith & Wesson 1854 lever action, and this is where things start to get interesting. Yes, it was built in partnership with Rossi, and that alone caused a lot of shooters to dismiss it before ever pulling the trigger. But that reaction misses the bigger picture. Priced between $750 and $850, it sits in a sweet spot that undercuts many premium lever guns while still delivering solid quality control. The 1 in 16 twist rate is optimized for heavier bullets, making it especially capable for handloaders running 158 to 180 grain loads. Out at 125 to 150 yards on deer-sized game, it holds its own with confidence. Compared directly to a Henry Big Boy, the 1854 feels more balanced and slightly less front-heavy. The factory iron sights are also better than standard offerings at this price point. Most people dismiss this rifle without even shooting it. At number 3, we have the Chiappa Firearms Alaskan Takedown, and this is where the conversation shifts from collecting to actually using a rifle. This lever gun breaks down into 2 compact pieces in under 30 seconds, no tools required. With its 16-inch barrel and lightweight design, it comes in roughly 2 pounds lighter than many traditional lever guns, and that difference becomes very real after hours on your feet. The hard chrome finish is not just cosmetic. It offers serious corrosion resistance in wet brush, snow, or coastal air, conditions that quickly punish standard blued steel. As a truck gun or backpack rifle, it simply makes sense. Compared to something like a Henry X, which leans heavily into the tactical aesthetic, the Alaskan feels purpose-built for field practicality. This is where things start separating collectors from users. At number 2, we're talking about the pre-safety Rossi R92, specifically rifles manufactured before 2015. These are the versions without the crossbolt safety on top of the bolt, and that detail matters more than most people realize. If you're scanning the used rack, look for a clean bolt top with no added safety button and verify the serial year. That's your first clue you found one of the good ones. Back then, quality control was more consistent, and the actions often came smoother from the factory. Newer production can be hit or miss, which is why so many experienced buyers focus on the older runs. Yes, You may want to install a spring kit and spend an afternoon polishing the internals, but that's minor work. We're talking about a $600 rifle performing like a $1,200 rifle. This is the one smart buyers quietly grab while everyone else argues online. At number 1, we have the Browning Arms Company BLR, chambered in .358 Winchester and often used as the foundation for a custom .357 Maximum build. This is not a traditional toggle-link lever gun. The BLR uses a rack and pinion action, a rotating bolt, and a detachable box magazine. Mechanically, it is closer to a modern bolt action than a cowboy relic. When rechambered to .357 Maximum, you can push a 180-grain bullet to roughly 1,900 feet per second from a 20-inch barrel. Because it feeds from a box magazine, you can run Spitzer bullets with real ballistic advantage, something tube-fed rifles simply cannot safely accommodate. This isn't the rifle your granddad carried. This is the rifle your grandkids won't know how to classify. It is expensive, requires custom work, and it is not for everyone. But as an evolution of the lever platform, nothing else here comes close. You might notice there's one rifle missing from this discussion, and that's intentional. The IWI Timberwolf is a capable firearm, but it isn't a true lever gun. It's a pump action. And while it offers performance advantages in certain situations, including it here would blur the focus of this video. Today's ranking is about the evolution, strengths, and hidden potential within the true lever platform itself. By keeping the conversation centered on genuine lever actions, we avoid diluting the message and maintain clarity. That focus is what gives this list credibility and authority. So who are these rifles really for? It comes down to 3 types of buyers. If you're the practical everyday shooter who wants a modern lever gun at a fair price, the Smith & Wesson 1854 makes the most sense. It's balanced, capable, and ready to go without requiring a deep dive into the used market. If you're the smart used rack hunter who enjoys finding value where others overlook it, the pre-safety Rossi R92 is your move. With a little work, it punches far above its price. And if you're the hardcore enthusiast chasing performance beyond tradition, the Browning Arms Company BLR custom build sits in a league of its own. Which one are you? Let me know in the comments. At the end of the day, don't let the gun counter decide for you. Don't let marketing campaigns or polished advertisements choose your rifle. And don't fall into the trap of memorizing brand names before you understand how the mechanism actually works. When you learn the system, the lockup, the feeding design, and the long-term durability, you start making smarter decisions because the truth is simple. The best .357 lever gun isn't the one everyone talks about. It's the one that keeps working when the trend dies. Now I want to hear from you. What's the most underrated lever gun you've ever owned? Drop it in the comments below and let's start the debate. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. Next week, we're talking about the most overrated rifles of 2026.